SOS. It's not healthy for me to feel this way. You're making this hard. Got me tossing and turning. I can't sleep at night. Someone come and rescue me. SOS. Got me looking for the rest of me. Got me losing it. SOS. I got some information this morning that I've been mulling over in my head. I get messages from Spirit, you know, in so many different ways. And how would you feel if there was a health issue? Serious. Oh, stop. Oh, look at this. Now here, this is what's going on. I'm trying to integrate the two boys, right? And then he's got to jump up on the bed with her. Lily, it's okay. She's got no claws. You're okay. You're okay. So this is something that I need to watch, okay? Because this is probably helping me with my issue. So these two live in the same house. Sometimes he wants to sleep on the same bed. And she doesn't want that. She's happy to be just by herself. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. And you're something else. Right? Trying to integrate you and the big boy next door, and I don't know how that's going to happen. All right, so the issue is this. I was trying to figure out, because of what I was being shown. Oh, here, we're going to go get a certain deck. I was trying to figure out, you know, you look at your life, that what's going on in your life. Now, these are roommates that don't get along, right? The owner of the house loves both of them, but they don't get along. So that's what I'm trying to work on here, trying to figure out. And then there's the other one that's come in, that has come from a very abusive place. He's been out in the streets. He had parasites. He had he'd have all kinds of medical work done. And that's why I'm wondering, because of the message that I was given from Spirit. Okay, so he came in, and there's a problem now between the boy in the house and the female in the house. But the owner is the one that's trying to keep everybody calm. Now, I don't know if I'm representing God or if I'm representing just somebody that owns a house, and these are all tenants in the house, you know, roommates that all, I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. But my question was, if there was a health issue, you loved someone, you cared about someone, and there was a health issue that you were trying to keep from them or trying to deal with. Oh, wow. And here's the message. I'm going to have the first message we got. This is literally what I had in my mind, and it came up. So my thing is this. Someone's trying to protect somebody that they love from a health issue. So they aren't communicating with them at all. They're not speaking with them at all. So far, they've done a really good job. And I started to get upset because this is a card that flipped out, so we're taking it, and this is literally what I was thinking, so it's perfect. SOS, somebody help me. SOS is a call you send out, right, for help. It's not healthy for me to feel this way, so it's an emotional problem. And I said, if you had an emotional issue or a physical issue, and you love somebody, but you didn't want them to know, you felt like you were protecting them. If this was the person who was protecting you from their issue, I'm bipolar, I have schizophrenia, I have cancer, or somebody in my family, somebody that I'm dealing with does, I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to get you involved and, you know, not know how things are going to be. If this was the one that you loved, and this one loved you, and they stayed away from you, they kept it quiet, how would you feel? Wouldn't that break your heart? Because that breaks my heart. And that's my message. I brought this one into my house to help him. He's not well, right? He had to get fixed. He had parasites. They had to clean out his system. I had to give him all kinds of medication, shots. You don't want him to be mixing with the others. So what if you picked up a venereal disease? You love somebody, but you're not moving forward because you made a mistake, something happened, and you got a venereal disease. If this was the person in your life, would you prefer they just stay away? How would you feel? I don't agree that you're protecting me. I feel that You feel like you're protecting me, but you're hurting me. And I have the right to decide. But maybe you feel that the pain is too much, that you wouldn't be able to handle it if they rejected you. I don't know. I'm just putting that out there because I'm letting you guys mull that over in your head. I'll show you my hand. This happened yesterday when I was trying to help. Right? Liger came in and my hand's so swollen. You probably can't see how bad it is, but that's a cut. That's her fangs right into my hand. And the two boys got upset, and Prince was very agitated, and he didn't know what to do. It was like a reflex. I didn't blame him, but he bit down on me. He just didn't know what to do. And he held his canines closed on my hand. And it hurt like hell, and I said, why would you do that to me? I'm trying to help you. So I feel like it has, and I know it has something to do with this situation that I'm seeing, and maybe I'll say it later in my dreams, or maybe this is going to help somebody. And somebody said, why would he bite the hands that feeds him? But you hurt the ones you love, right? It's like you trust them. They're not going to leave you, or he didn't mean to hurt me, and I know that. And sometimes maybe you hurt somebody because you're not well. You were drinking, or you were not in your right mind. Like my landlord, he took these gummies that had pot in them. They're pot gummies. They were supposed to help him relax, but he's not in his right mind. And it's kind of like yesterday when Prince came home from the vet. He wasn't in his right mind, and he was bumping into the walls. And so if you're not yourself, you might do or say something, and that hurts another, and you didn't mean to, but you weren't in your right mind. And maybe it's a mental condition. So you've already hurt them, and you don't want to hurt them again. But it's the protection. It's keeping you isolated and them isolated is no longer a protection. It's hurting everybody. It's hurting you. It's hurting them. The truth is what's important. And maybe you're, in all reality, really not protecting them. You're protecting yourself because you feel that if you tell, they'll leave you. And it's easier not knowing. But that's not fair. And yet if there's something that you feel is a sickness that you're not going to get well, that's why you feel that I'm going to protect them, because I don't know how it's going to go and I'm going to stay away. But this is the card that came to my mind when I asked that question. Is this an illness that they won't recover from? Death shall not take him. I've told you I've dreamed this dream years ago about the one, and the family said there's no use, and they were so sad, and he turned to a wooden boy, and he was like frozen, but he was wood. It's interesting, they showed him to me as Pinocchio. Pinocchio lies. So he's told a lie. He's told several lies, or lies have been told to cover up the truth of the story in order to protect somebody else that they love. But the worry is that they won't be able to survive this or get past this. And the family didn't think that the one that I loved in my dream that I was watching would be able to get past this. They said there was no help, no hope. There was nothing that could be done. And they were very sad, and they walked away, and I didn't give up. I would not give up. And I kept sending love and Reiki healing. Reiki healing is very powerful. The love is more powerful than death. We already know this. And here this one, for all intents and purposes, he's dead. His eyes are open, but he's dead. One eye's frozen over. His whole side of his body is frozen. It could be frozen in fear. It could be frozen emotion. It could be illness, addiction that's taken hold. But as the family walked away, I said, look, I was pouring Reiki energy and asking for the Father, this is the Father, this is Spirit, pouring life into this one that they told me there was no use. But I said, no, you're wrong. He's going to be okay. And every once in a while, I would see his blue eye. The color would come back to his eyes, and I would say, see? Every once in a while, you'd get a glimpse. Somebody would come forward, and I felt that energy coming towards me. I would feel it, and then it would go retreat. Would feel it, then it would retreat. But when the family turned around, I think it was his brother, he turned around and he looked at him. The light went back out of his eyes, and he said, there's no use, and he walked away. I wouldn't stop. Well, this is telling you, the number 3 is full circle and completion. Yes, what goes around comes around. Consequences for actions, but it also means that ascended masters are working with you. The number 3 means ascended masters, 1 or more. Well, there are 4 stars here on all 4 corners. Angels are everywhere, all around you. You are completely surrounded, guided, protected, and loved. There is no reason for fear. Death shall not take him. So sometimes when you think it's all over, now I'm talking about a person here, but this could represent a relationship, this could represent a job, this could represent a dream that you've held on to. Just when you think it's over, just when the fat lady's about to sing, just when they're about to yank you off the stage, just when they're about to pull the cord, just when they're about to shut the door, something happens. This happens. Divine intervention happens. Right when you've given up, suddenly, it's like, you know that song, I'll do whatever it takes. I want to be the rip cord, pull me like a rip cord. Well, it's like you're free falling out of an airplane, and you can't get that chute to open, and you're figuring this is it, and at the last second, suddenly it yanks up, and you are flying. Or spirit reaches down and rescues you. It's like that little yellow warbler that tried to jump out of the nest, and it fell into the water, into the emotional waters. It fell into that great lake. But I was right next to him. I was there. I didn't leave. I saw him, just like spirit won't leave you. I saw that baby bird, and I helped that little bird to shore, and I put him up on the shore in the sun, and he started to dry his little wings out. And I went away. He hobbled over to the underneath, to the bushes, away from where he was safer. I was worried about cats and other animals getting him, but he was down where all the other birds were. And all of a sudden, his family came and they surrounded him. So they stayed with him, just like in this situation. The spirit is all around you, and they're not leaving you, and I'm not leaving you. In my dream, I said, I'll be your friend till the end. I don't care. Like the song Umbrella, come under my umbrella when the world has taken its part and the world has dealt its cards and it's raining. Oh, I said I'd be a friend to the end, and I'm here. And that's what Spirit says. We are breathing life-giving force into you, healing energy. You will not be taken. This is when fate steps in. This is when destiny says, fuck no, you're not going anywhere. You've worked hard for this. This project, you put everything into it. You've done everything right. You've given of yourself. You've walked your walk. You've talked your talk. You've stood in your integrity. And we're going to step in and help you. We're not going to let you lose this. You guys haven't communicated very well. You haven't been able to figure it out. But we've watched you both trying. So we're going to step in to this relationship, and we're going to intervene, and we're going to show you how to come to some kind of a compromise so that you guys can work this out. Because it's too valuable to allow this relationship to end. And this life that's struggling to hold on has been going through one challenge after another, trying so hard. And see, that's what all Spirit wants us to do, is try. And they'll come in, they'll help. They say, take that leap of faith. We are surrounding you. And everything that you have done and everything that you've put in, all the goodness that you are, comes full circle. What goes around comes around, and this is your lucky day. But it's not really luck, because you've earned it. You deserve this. So no matter how many setbacks, how defeated you feel, like that little cat that was thrown out. My friend said to me yesterday, after he saw that he bit me, he said, so did you take that wild animal down to the shelter? And I said, I took him in to get neutered and all of his shots and dewormed. And he said, why would you do that? He bit you. And I said, because he's had enough. He deserves a chance. He came from a very abusive place, and he was thrown out in the streets, and he was fending for himself, and he's good, and he's sweet. He's a loving cat, and he deserves a second chance. And he came to me. And so all the Father wants is for you to come to him. Come to Spirit, and they will guide you. They will help you with whatever you're struggling with. Go to Spirit. If you've come up against a wall, hand it over to Spirit.
surrender. Whatever you say goes. Whatever is in my highest good, I will follow. But I'm asking for divine intervention. I'm asking on behalf of this one. And I'm asking on behalf of these two cats and the other one that I brought in. I've asked for divine intervention, and I believe in miracles. I've seen them. I've partaken in them. I have been used to help guide a car that was rolling in front of me back onto its wheels, where that man could have gone down a cliff, but he didn't. I energetically worked with spirit, just like this. Just like I energetically work with Reiki energy, and I asked the Father, use me as a divine channel. Just send my healing Reiki energy to my twin, and to this little cat, or to whoever I help, whoever I work with. Like the work I'm doing right now. This is my path, and it's so important. I ask the Father, use me as a divine channel. Guide my words. Choose the right words. Choose the right cards to come out after you show me certain things so that I can piece them together. And the right songs. SOS, someone help me. That's what the song said. SOS, someone help me. That little cat was saying, SOS, someone help me. And this one is saying, it's not right to feel this way. Help me. So if you're listening to this, know that if you call out Spirit for help, they will help you go through whatever you need to go through. They don't always take away the challenge, but they help you go through it. And they give you the guidance. Now, don't just pick and choose the guidance that's coming out. And don't just say, well, that's just her personal opinion. I've asked to be a divine channel. The words that come from me are guided. All of these words are coming from Spirit. So right now, it may not be this tragic for you. I feel this tragedy. I've watched it in my own house. I've watched it in my dreams, so I know it's real. And it is this tragic. But maybe yours isn't that tragic. Maybe you've just really had a lot of failures and setbacks, and you're just really downtrodden, and you're just feeling like, God, these are impossible odds. But Spirit wants you to know that you're going to succeed. Even against the impossible odds, you're going to be that long shot horse that comes through at the final stretch. You're going to be that marathon runner that gets the final wind and crosses that finish line. So, Spirit wants you to, at this moment, like I just said, go ahead and doubt my words. Say that she's just taking it personally and speaking for herself. And that's not the truth. I walk my walk and I talk my talk, and I do what Spirit tells me. So if you want to doubt, go ahead. But then come to the Father and ask anyway. What's it going to hurt you? Right? Just say, whatever is in the highest good of all, I ask, please help me. Please help this relationship. Please help this move. Please help us find a place that we can go where we're going to be safe. Please help me get a job. I've been struggling, and I'm really scared at this point. I know you're there, but I'm scared. So please help me. Fill me with courage. Fill me with a sense of peace and calm. And show me that it's going to be okay. Because Spirit says, we want to dazzle you with an unexpected triumph. We want to deliver that gift to you. So Spirit wants you to relax and allow and take the wisdom that's being offered to you to help you guide through the obstacles that you might be feeling. So here's an affirmation that you can use. It's actually it's like an intention. Dear universe, or I would say my Father. When I look at this, I see my Father. Because remember that man who went everywhere out there. He went off his path. He was trying to plant his trees, set down roots, but everywhere he went, it didn't work. He was rejected. He was turned away. It could have been a project. It could have been a dream. Whatever it was, it just wasn't working for him. And he was so tired. And he hid me in his father's house. His father didn't know I was there, that I knew. But we both watched him. The father watched him, and I watched him. As he went, he was exhausted and just broken down. And finally, the father discovered me in that house. I wouldn't leave. And then we watched him in his last place that he tried, and it wasn't successful. And he knew he had a good idea, but he just wasn't able to do it. There was a reason. Father was watching him the whole time, and so was I. And he came across the street to the father who he had run away from. He fell off his path. He went away from his spiritual path. He went out and he tried to do it on his own. He got caught up in the wrong crowd and everything went sideways. He was a good person, but something happened. We don't know all the details of the things that happened while he was on his path. I know a lot of them. I saw a lot. It was really awful. It was hard for me to watch. And it was hard for his father to watch. And the whole time I was sending healing, Reiki energy and love. And so was the father. I begged the father to let him in. Please bring him. Go get him. Bring him home. And he said, no, this is his lesson to learn. He needs to bow down. And I didn't understand. Why wouldn't you just make it easy for him? It's been so hard. Please let him come in. But then when he came, he fell down at his father's feet. He thought he was going to be in trouble. And when he fell, I saw him. He turned into a little boy, and he was 5 years old. 5 represents there is a significant change happening in your life, always for the better. It's a good idea to call upon Spirit for help with these changes. And that's what he did. He finally knew, Father, help me. And he fell down at his father's feet. And his father picked him up. And he looked at him. He held him out like you would hold a child out in front of you. And he said, my son, don't you know all I wanted was for you to be happy? If you had just followed my guidance. And he took the little boy and he put him against his chest, and the little boy laid his head on his chest, and the father wrapped his arms around him. I was crying like I am now. I was standing there watching how tired he was and how he finally knew that he had to stop fighting it, stop trying to do it alone. And he leaned into the father and he said, help me. He was so grateful to be home. And as soon as he put his head on his father's chest, he fell asleep. And the father carried him into the house. And I went in after him. The father doesn't want us to bow down so that we can be whipped. So that we can be berated and told, I told you so. I told you that this would happen. If you had listened, this wouldn't have happened. And maybe that's the situation. Maybe the one that's trying to protect the other was already warned and thought, I'm too embarrassed to come back. But there is no pride in spirit. There is no ego in spirit, and there is no ego in love. And there is no ego pride in love. And you have this ability. So, dear Father, dazzle me with your life-affirming brilliance. Bring the best, the boldest and most beautiful things into my life and into my world. I'm ready to be rocked by your loving power. I'm ready. Take me. I surrender. And then, let the sadness and the grief go away. And the depression and the defeat. And imagine everything shifting. And all of a sudden it's happened. And you're like, yes, here it is. We got the house. You got the job. You just got the doctor's report back and you got a clean bill of health. It's going to be okay. I called her. I asked her if she'll want to meet, or I texted her, I emailed her. And she said yes. She said yes. She wants to. But I've been so filled with fear, I didn't even want to take that move. I didn't want to ask. You know, so many people say, I don't want to hope for too much. I don't want to expect anything because I don't want to be let down again. It'll hurt too much. I don't want to try that one last time because I'm just barely holding on right now. But this is a confirmation. Please try it. Imagine a happy ending because the universe has now received your permission. Because the Father can't step in. He can't send all 4 corners. 4 corners are spirit, physical, material, emotional. All 4 corners. You're safe. We're going to help you. You've completed all you needed to do. Can you hear the dove? I don't know if you can hear it. There's a dove cooing. The dove is prophecy. This is prophecy. I've seen this. I have seen him come back to life. I saw him come back to the Father. I've seen him come to me. I got the email that said, would you meet with me? And I said yes, and I saw him come. I've seen it. The dove represents prophecy, fulfillment, soulmate connections, taking a breath. The olive branch. This may be just telling you that you need to offer that olive branch. Extend that offer to someone. Let them know. Bring them in. Help somebody. Like I helped that little cat. No, I didn't need to do it. I didn't need to spend $125. I didn't need to be bit. I didn't need to, wish for something. And sometimes you get more than you asked for. But I prayed and I was guided and I was told, go for it. I listened to my guidance, even if it looks crazy to other people. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know. They're calm and content right there, my two. Look at Liger. He's sleeping. Lily was growling at him a minute ago, fighting, didn't want him on the bed next to her. Well, she's over there. They're coexisting. That can happen. I've done it before. I can do it again. I've asked for help. Spirit can do anything. There are no obstacles with Spirit. None. So say the following affirmation. Stone is warmed by the blood of life. This is the stone. Stone cold feelings. Stone health. A project. A relationship. Your relationship with your Father. He will never turn you away. True friends will never turn you away. A true love will never turn you away. There is nothing like a mother's love. We all have that nurturing energy within us. So stone is warmed by the blood of life. The universe dazzles me with its life-giving blessings, and all I need, love, want, and desire, comes to life in me, in my world. Because the Father said, death shall not take him. And I believe it, and I trust it. I'm going to ask for a message. We're already at a half an hour, but I'm going to ask for a message. See what we get. So I know what that song is. It's Hollaback Girl. And what that is it's basically based on the situation like in high school. You've got two high school girls, and one girl's jealous of the other. And she's constantly causing trouble. She's one of those ones who, when she goes by, I had one of these in high school. Every time I'd go by, she'd try and trip me, bump into me on purpose, knock my books out of my hands. She'd say, bitch, down the hallway, right? Whore, whatever. She liked this guy, and this guy liked me. And so she did everything she could to break us up. And the thing is, what's so funny about the situation is he was just my friend. But he liked me, and she wanted him. So she is called a hollerback girl. Now, if you were to do that in high school, and you watch the other girl, one girl says bitch, and the other girl says whore, that's a hollerback girl. Well, this song is about, I ain't no hollaback girl. I've been around this block a few times. I'm not going to stoop myself to your level. I'm awake. I'm aware. Yes, I am aware of the lies and manipulation. And sometimes I get frustrated and I ask the Father, why are you allowing this to go on? Why are you allowing them to get away with this? I'm not resorting to the same tactics. I'm not lying. I'm not manipulating. And I'm not a hollerback girl. But the song is a victory song. You're gonna watch me win, basically. You're gonna watch me win. I'm not a hollerback girl, but you watch. I've been around this block a few times. I've learned these lessons. I know how to handle this. And you're not gonna win this game. You're not gonna win whatever this is. And that is the message.
Don't stoop to their level. You don't need to. You will rise above it and you will be victorious. So 2 messages of victory right then. This is our last card since it was very, very long and detailed. Okay, interesting. I haven't had this message before. I'm grateful that we have a card that we haven't seen. So this is called the Maven of Masks. And yesterday we were told, take the mask off, right? Take the mask off, remove the mask. Look at all the masks on the ground at this one's feet. This one's a harlequin, this one's a joker. You think of the Joker wore a mask, right? But there's several masks on the ground. And this one's kind of sitting there. These are all the masks that I have worn. You know, it's kind of like sometimes we wear different hats. I've got a mother hat, I've got a daughter hat, I've got a granddaughter hat, I've got a aunt hat, I've got a friend hat, I've got a lover hat, I've got a teacher hat, right? So here we've got different masks. And the message Spirit is asking is, you know, who do you want to be? This one's a skull. This one's looks like the Phantom of the Opera. This one's got gold glitter. This one's laughing. This one's got the beak, like the death mask. You know, the plague doctor death mask. So who is it that you want to be? Spirit wants you to act as you want. Have you ever, you know how sometimes role playing, I used to watch, what was that show? Modern Family. I love Modern Family. It's hysterical. And the husband and wife, they've got a bunch of kids in the house, right? So they go out on a date to get out of the house. And what they do is they meet at a restaurant, but they act like they don't know each other. Like they're picking each other up. And they have like a one-night stand. It's funny, but they can be a completely different person. So it's kind of like that liberation of being different than you always are, right? You can go into, it's kind of like when you go on holiday, like I've been through Europe, I've been through all over Europe and England and Wales, and if you go somewhere where nobody knows you, you can be somebody different. It's like when I moved to Wisconsin, I wasn't different than who I am, but when I lived here in California, I had a completely different life. And when I went to Wisconsin, I was on my spiritual path, and my life completely changed. So I was a different person. And I stepped into the role because nobody knew my past. They never knew anything about me. I've done this many times in my life. I was raised as a little girl. I was a hippie child living in the woods, right? And then I became a Jehovah's Witness, my family, and that was their choice, not mine. But I was raised that way. And then I walked away from that lifestyle. I mean, I am a different person in all of those cases. And it was liberating. Now I am finally fully myself, truly who I am. So right now it's kind of like the masks have come off and you get to choose who you want to be. Like I got to choose. I wasn't a child. It wasn't my parents' choice anymore. I wasn't bound by a religion. Like remember the message we got yesterday was a broken contract. The contract is over. It's not a life, what was it? It's not a binding contract, right? So you were free. You weren't being held in place. You were allowed to become something different. So Spirit's telling you, right now, maybe you have been somebody who has been very passive. You know, you were in a very controlling religion like I was in, right? There was a lot of rules. I wasn't allowed to do this. There was a lot of things. It's liberating. I'm not bound by any of that. Or maybe you've been in a very possessive marriage and your contract ended. You got out of that marriage. You were divorced. Now you're free. You were never able to speak. You weren't able to, buy your own things. I was in a marriage like that. I wasn't allowed to have my own money. I had to report everything. It was very controlled. It's funny to imagine me that way, isn't it? They break you down a little at a time. But now, you can become more assertive, more confident. Or maybe you were a player. You were a bad boy or a bad girl out there. You were a hard ass. You played one person after another because you'd been hurt and you weren't going to let anybody in. And that was just the way you played. You played hard and fast. Maybe you were a bit of a gangster. You did illegal things, right? And now, and you had a hard exterior. Maybe you weren't very nice. But you're now changing. People don't know you now because you're a different person. You're going to be more vulnerable, more open. You're going to exhibit more of a nurturing, loving energy instead of that aggressive, nasty energy. Or maybe you were the whipped one. You were the one who was the doormat, the used one, the oppressed one. And now you're going to step more into a masculine role. You're divine masculine, because we have both within us. And you're going to take a role of leadership. I'm going to take control of my life. Whatever the mask is, this Maven of Masks comes forward to say, it's time for you to try on another aspect of your personality. Maybe you have been reawakened, and you have now, just like that one who went off his path, and he went around and he did, all these different things, and he was so exhausted. He wasn't fulfilled in what he did. He was exhausted. It was exhausting. Maybe he went out and was really successful. It looked to us, what we were watching, that he wasn't able to plant his trees, but maybe the trees were setting down roots. Maybe he was very successful in the material world, but he wasn't satisfied. He didn't find anything that could hold him down. Nothing took his heart. Or he wasn't satisfied because he wasn't connecting with his spiritual, true soul self. Right? It didn't mean that he just wasn't successful at his project. He could have made a shitload of money, had a ton of attention, women all over him. But no one had found his heart. He thought that he could replace what he was playing around with originally. We went out there and found that he couldn't. There was nothing like the original. And he came back and realized, I need to be on my soul's path. I want to go back. All of this stuff doesn't even matter to me. What mattered to me is what I left. So maybe you come back to your authentic self, like I came back to my authentic self, like the little girl that grew up in the forest. That's who I am now. And it's funny because my son says, who is my mother? Who are you? I don't even recognize you. But my mom remembered me. That was who I was. That was the truth of me. So maybe it feels awkward. You've been in this role for so long, it's hard to step into the other role of your actual true self because you've been wearing a mask. You've been faking it for so long that nobody knows the real you. It's been inside of you all this time. No one has ever really seen who you are. What if they don't accept me? No. This is coming forward to tell you that you will not be happy, just like that one, until you are truly yourself. You speak your truth and this is who I am. Remember the song yesterday, the one that means so much to me. All of me loves all of you. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. This is me, all of me. And that's you, all of you, both of us, cards all on the table, all showing hearts. It was acceptance of who you were as you are. But we have to accept ourselves first before we even allow ourselves to concern ourselves about what others will think. Because we're not meant to be worrying about everyone else. People spend so much time worrying about other people that what other people think, and they don't realize they're not thinking about you. They're too worried about themselves. They don't care what you look like. They're worried about what they look like. They don't care how successful you are. They're worried about how successful they look. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Be the true white heron, the crane person, the jack of all trades, master of none, the eccentric, the eclectic, the strange one. Be that and embrace it. And be the best of who you are. Even if it feels awkward at first, fake it till you make it, right? Fake it till you make it. It's like with my positive affirmations when I work with my clients and they're in this really awful place. And I say, you just need to start saying this. Well, it's not, I don't feel good right now. All is getting better. I don't feel well. Okay, well, start where you're at. Okay, this is how I feel right now. I feel like shit. But I know it's going to get better. It's going to get easier, and I'm going to get stronger, and I'm going to get over this, and I'm going to be victorious. I will be able to handle this. I am capable of doing this. And then you start talking yourself up, right? I am capable. I have support. I have angels all the way around me. I'm guided, protected, and loved. I can do this. I'm being shown. What comes around goes around. What I put out, I'll get back. Yes, I have had to reap the consequences of my actions, but you know what? I've got good in me too. And I've done a lot of good in my life, and I will reap the consequences of that. And you know what? My Father's loving, and he doesn't judge me. And he says if I come to him, he'll help me. Even if I have done that, I can be forgiven. I am capable of forgiving myself. And if I can forgive myself, then I can be forgiven. And whoever doesn't forgive me, they're not meant to be in my life.
Because God says, do not judge unless you be judged. Come with a compassionate, loving, forgiving heart. That is what love would do. That is what love would say. I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to fake it until I make it. I feel awkward as hell right now. I do. I feel like I got 2 left feet, but I'm going to keep dancing. And some people don't like it. Some people won't like it. My family doesn't like it. And I don't care. They think that I'm being fake. They think I'm not being real. I'm not being realistic, but I know that I am. So other people, when you change, they don't like what's different. They're not familiar with it. It makes them uncomfortable. But that's not your concern. We have the ability to experiment, explore, and express ourselves in any way we wish to be. If there are qualities within you that you want to discover that you have yet to discover, go down deep. Discover what you've got in you. We have every possibility within us. Start playing around with different things. Play around with your hairstyle. Try on different clothes. Makeup. Try it. It's like going to class and learning how to belly dance. It's awkward as hell. Or I'm really bad at taking dance lessons. I suck. I'm a great free dancer, but I have a really hard time dancing with anybody. I've got a masculine energy and I want to lead. It's hard for me to allow myself to lead. I let someone lead me, right? That's in my personality, so I get it. You may be stubborn like me, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to compromise. Compromise is the first thing, and I'll try it. Hell, nobody's good at something the first time they do it. If you are, I've always had that attitude. My grandson's the same way as me, and my daughter is too. If we try something and we're not good at it, we don't do it. We have to excel at it, and we will be the best at what we do. But I've realized now that anything I set my mind to, I can do. If I'm not interested in it, like if it's not my thing, I'll lose interest and I'll walk away from it. But that's just because it's not for me. But if this is something you want to try on, you can do anything you set your mind to. I have said this to my twin from the moment I met him. I'm proud of you. I don't care what I don't know, and I don't care what you've done. You can do anything you set your mind to. And I know that. And I can do it too, and I have done it. And I don't do it alone. None of us do it alone. We have all 4 corners by spirit supporting us. The number 44 is the number of this card. The first one, we had 4. But the number 44, it's going to be the same thing, not the same thing, but the same energy of angels. And what they're telling you is, think of the 2 messages that we've gotten. This one, about being your true self or trying something different, and coming through that extremely challenging situation. The angels give you extra comfort, love, and support right now. Ask them for help with everything and listen to their guidance through your intuition. See? They're hearing you. Ask them. You have to ask. That's the trick. That's why the Father said he has to bow down. Bow down means, will you help me? So it doesn't even have to be just the Father. It can be your family. It can be a friend. It can be your loved one. Will you speak to me? Can we talk? Can we work this out? Will you forgive me? Will you let me explain? Will you work on this with me? Go to the bank. Ask for that loan. One more time. But first go to the Spirit and ask for their assistance in making things transition smoothly. Please help. I don't care how you do it. I don't care how you do it. It's not even my concern. I know you can do whatever it is. Help me in this role. Help me be my true self. Help me find my voice. Help me with the words. Show me the means of communication that I'm supposed to use. Guide me to the right bank, the right lending institution. Guide me to the right real estate agent. Put me in the right place at the right time with the right people so that this goes smoothly. Guide me to the correct physician or the holistic medicinal. I don't even know what medicinal. I'm fighting with myself over that. But sometimes we do need to have Western medicine. I was going to say, direct me to the holistic means of healing myself. That's my first choice. Okay, so that's my first choice. Guide me to the correct crystals that I need. Lapis lazuli, right now you need it. Put on your lapis lazuli cuff. You need that right now.
Stone of truth, speech. Anything blue, anything green, anything pink, as far as a crystal, for healing and your heart. Rose quartz. Right now, very, very powerful. Rose quartz. It's the greatest healing stone. The greatest love stone is rose quartz, and love heals everything. So that is the most powerful stone. Crystal quartz, because you can set your own personal intention into that crystal, and then the crystal will amplify any other properties of any other crystal. But we must ask. So start play acting, start role playing. It's going to feel that way at first. You're going to feel like I've heard people say this. I feel like a total fake. This is never, oh, right, right. All of a sudden you're Mr. Holier Than Thou. You've done this, you've done that. The song, sometimes the greatest thing is saying something is saying nothing at all. That's Justin Timberlake's song. The reason he's saying that is because something has been done and everybody's up in an uproar about it. And he's saying, everybody knows about my transgressions. How can I open up my mouth? Everybody knows what I've done. I've done that too. Yeah, but you don't have to continue to do that. You can step away from that. Right? So it's going to feel that way. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel like you're playing a role because you're not used to it. But you know that that's in you and you've been longing for it. And that creativity and that confidence that you yearn for, it's within you. So see yourself as this person that's got that qualities. Fake it till you make it. When I was a little girl, as a Jehovah's Witness, we had to go up on the platform into Kingdom Hall, which is our church, and give talks because, as you all know, Jehovah's Witnesses go from door to door. They knock on your door. They present the Watchtower and Awake magazine, right? It's very difficult. I've done it since I was a little girl. First time I took my first door when I was 6 years old. It's very hard to go to somebody's door and have people yell at you and slam the door in your face. So think about that the next time a Jehovah's Witness comes to your door, especially if there's a child. It's really hard. I did what I thought I was doing. I thought I was doing the right thing, and I was doing it for God. So please have some compassion and kindness when they come to your door. They think they're doing the right thing. They're doing what their heart is guiding them to do. But I had to go and on the platform and give talks because it was practicing for when I would go out in the neighborhoods and talk, to go up to strangers. I would have to approach people on the streets even. And it was really scary. And I had to do it in front of the entire congregation of 200 people watching me. And that's how you're probably going to feel. But I did it and I was 6 years old. And if I can do it, you can do it. And it was hard as hell. Yes, it was. And it was embarrassing. My face would get red, but I got good at it. And look at me now. When I first started doing this work, I was so scared when I would do these readings. What if I can't think of the right words to say? What if my mind goes blank? And it did a lot. When I first started, I look back at some of my readings and I want to delete them. I'm embarrassed. Do you know somebody left a comment on one of my YouTube videos? It was an older video and I just got it the other day. It's interesting. And he would call himself the philosopher. And he said, after reading your about page and listening to this, I realized that you know nothing. You're ridiculous. And he went on about something, whatever. And I thought, there's always going to be that person. And you know what? I don't know everything. But this isn't all coming from me. I'm using my life experiences because you can relate to me. But I'm being used by the Father. And I may not be perfect. I never said I was. And I may not get it all right. And you may look at me and say, she's a fine one to talk. I know she's got 2 DUIs. She's been married more than once. I knew her when she would go out and party. I knew her. I spent 2 years partying in California when I moved down from Canada after I got out of that abusive relationship. I had been locked up for so long that I just went, I didn't want to be free. I wanted to be free. I wanted to go out and party and dance and drink and dance all night long, and I did. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I deserve to be free. And I had to express myself and I had to release that. And you know what? I had a lot of anger in me. I had a lot of anger because I had been controlled for so long. I had no freedom and I had no right to choose. And so I was going to do whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And I don't care what you think of me. But that's not who I am now. I worked through that. I am me now. And I'm still not perfect. And you may not think it's appropriate that I use profanity when I speak. As a Jehovah's Witness, I never did. I never used the F word ever. Sometimes it comes out now. And it probably will go away, It's probably still just that bit of anger coming out of me being released. I don't know. Sometimes it just fits the circumstance. I'm not judging it. And you're free not to listen if it bothers you, right? But I understand, because I've had a lot of people say that. Yeah, right. First of all, she has no formal training. No, I don't. I have none. I am taught by spirit. I'm taught in my dreams, and I'm guided. I haven't been taught. The only thing I had formal training is with my Reiki, and I took a dream analysis course. Other than that, no. I do my own research, or spirit brings it to me. And you're, free to listen or not, None of us are 100% perfect. None of us are 100% right. We all make mistakes. I will constantly make mistakes, but I will pick myself up and I keep going. I learn from my mistakes and I move forward and I get stronger because of them. So no, I'm not going to judge you, because you got a lot you could judge me about, right? I've tried on all these different masks. I like who I am. I feel good. I know my sense of self-worth. I'm happy in my imperfection, and so should you be. So right now you need to act. You got to have faith that you can pull it off, right? Just like that little bird. That little bird landed in the water, smack, almost drowned. I had to help him, but I did help him. Just like Spirit says, you may go out and you may take a flying leap off that leap of faith and land on your face. And like the Father said, he's got to bow down. He's got to stumble. That's why we don't enable people. That's why we allow people to make their own mistakes. That's why we allow our children to fall. That's why we can't stop and shield everyone. Just like that one who's trying to protect the one they love from what they're going through. You can't protect us from pain. You need to allow us to love you. You need to allow Spirit to help you. So right now, what would be interesting is you could put a real mask on your face right now, or put your hands over your face, right? And say, I am. And then remove the mask and call out a quality. So say you are shy. Put on the mask, take it off and say, I am. Take the mask off and say, courageous. I am outgoing. I am confident. I am beautiful. That's another thing. A lot of times we feel ugly. We feel unworthy. I am worthy. I am powerful. I am enlightened. I am happy. I am accepting. I am humble. I am proud. I am grateful. I'm unstoppable. I am determined. I'm unbreakable. I'm unshakable. I'm funny. I'm creative. I'm inventive. I am loving and forgiving and kind. I am approachable. Anything that you want to name off, whatever comes to your mind at first. I am open. I am vulnerable. I am exposed. I am safe. Start the qualities, right? I am sexy. I'm wild. I'm a wild one. I'm sassy. I'm bold. I'm brassy. I'm outrageous. I'm dramatic. I'm driven. Whatever. Say them all. I am are the two most powerful words, because any word that follows that is amplified like big time. So allow your imagination to run with it. Put on the masks, take them off, and remove them. Call out whatever it is. And if you feel stupid saying it, that's good. That's good. Because then you know what you're going to work on, those positive affirmations. Discover something that you didn't know about yourself. And you know what? Try that. Go on vacation somewhere different. Drive to a town a few, farther away than where you live. Like, I could drive here to Encinitas and I could dress completely different than I normally do. Something that I wouldn't normally, feel comfortable doing. I could do it. Nobody would know. Nobody knows what I feel inside. And I can do it until the point where I start feeling comfortable with it. So here is a following affirmation for this. I know this is a very long reading, but it's very, very powerful and very important. So here's your affirmation. There's more to me than meets the eye. I have hidden depths full of surprising traits and qualities, much that I discover happily. I'm discovering things about myself. There's more to me than meets the eye. I have hidden depths full of surprising traits and qualities, which I discover happily. Right? There's more than me than meets the eye. And if you've been worrying about that, yeah, there's more to me than meets the eye. Everyone knows about my transgressions, but you don't know what I've done. And when you find out, you're going to take off. No, that is your ego voice talking, because you don't have to be that person anymore if you don't want to be. You can be a different person now. We've all heard the stories of people who find God and leave a life of crime and turn into somebody different. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Remember the story that I told you guys that I was watching? Where Lies the Heart? That kind of it's a Harlequin, I think it's, or Hallmark channel, whatever. But I loved it because it was set in the Canadian mountains and the Rockies and the prairies kind of. And there was a guy that came into town. Nobody knew him. He was a great guy. Everybody loved him. He was the preacher. He became their preacher. But it was found out that he had been a bank robber before and he shot somebody. And he had been promiscuous. And it was like the whole town was in an uproar. But then there was half the town that said, no, he's the same person he was when he rode into town. Like, we don't have a past? We don't all have a past? We all haven't made a mistake? And so they all thought about it, and they all decided to keep him as their preacher. And now it was even stronger because now he felt he was like them. Right? You may be looking up to a spiritual person. That's why I share the stuff about myself. I tell you, I've had 2 DUIs. I've been married more than once. I partied all night long. I slept with people that I wasn't married to. I did. Not a lot, but I did. That was hard for me because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. But I did. But I'm not that person now. I am that person. That person is inside of me. I'm a little bit of all of that. Same thing as the religion, right? I'm not New Age. I'm not Jehovah's Witness. I'm not Buddhist. I'm not Taoist. I'm everything. I'm a little bit of everything. I'm a crane person. I'm eclectic. I'm a weirdo. I'm eccentric. I do things differently. I dance to my own drum, and I like it that way. So if I'm not approachable, I don't know who could be, right? It's different than looking up to somebody that's your idol, you know, and then all of a sudden you find out all their flaws, and it's like, oh my God. No. Isn't it much more easy to speak to somebody and work with somebody who you feel is like you, or who's had the shit kicked out of them? I've had the shit kicked out of me. I was in an abusive relationship for 10 years. You'll never see that happen to me again. Never. Never. I'm strong, and if I can get through it, you can get through it. I've been in a twin soul relationship for 4 years, and it has kicked the shit out of my heart. But I've done it with the help of all of you, and with my father, and with my twin soul, because he connects with me through our heart and through our dreams. Thank you, God. And thanks for being there last night, by the way. It was nice to see you. But it's tough. So I think it's easier to listen to somebody give you pep talks and tell you to use positive affirmations when you see that it's not going good for me. I don't have love in my life. I'm alone and I'm lonely and I miss him and I worry about him. And I know there are secrets. I've seen a lot of them. And I know there's probably things that I don't know, and they'll probably hurt, but I'm willing to deal with it. So, when I tell you to have faith and trust that Spirit's on your side, you can believe it, because I'm doing it. I've been in the depths. I've lost everything, my home, my money, everything. Been down to nothing, $3,000 owed the next day, and only $8 in my account. And received a check for $3,500. I've seen miracles happen in my life again and again. So have faith, have trust, go out, take off your mask, put on a different persona, and be who you want to be. Tell your truth, and who gives a shit that people know what your transgressions are? They know what mine are, and I'm cool with it. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And thank you for all of your prayers. And for my birthday, a lot of people, said, I send you love and healing and blessings. And I take every single one. I had over 300 people send me blessings and love and energy. And I take it. And I believe in that strength. That's what keeps me going. And as far as Prince and Liger and Lily, Lily almost died. I used Reiki healing, and I called on the Father, and the Father said, there will be a miracle. I asked about my twin, and he said, there will be a miracle. You will see a miracle happen. And we saw that this morning, didn't we? Death will not take him. So believe in it. Lily is completely healthy. And now we've got Prince, and we've got personality issues that we got to work through with these 3. But I know something is going to be miraculously happening. I'm using cannabis oil, by the way. I put a drop of cannabis oil in Liger's food, and I put a drop in Prince's food, and it's calmed them both down so that they can maybe have less aggression within them. Lily, she's too smart. Lily's so smart. She figures everything out. I'd put a little drop on her food, and she's like, yeah, who do you think you're fooling? She's the seer. She's the little owl. She knows. All right, you guys. Again, thank you for all the love and blessings, and I send them back 4,000-fold to all of you, right? The more prayers and love and energy that we direct towards one another, the more energy and power we receive, and healing. So it's not just words. Words are power. I am sending you love, blessings, and asking for healing to go to all of you. And I know that I'm heard, and I know that you will receive it. If you are willing, we all have to be accepting, right? We got to reach out to the hand that's reaching out to us. We got to do the work. It doesn't come to us. Love comes freely. But all the other, we have to work at it. All right, that's it. Talk to you later. Love you.